Thank you for watching the Comedy at the Creek podcast, brought to you by Country Creek Reception Hall and Beer Plug Entertainment Productions. Sponsored by Barnett Construction and Tiffany Tax Service. Today's guests are Chris Reed and Yogi.
Well, that's cool. Hey, thank you guys very much for coming out. Obviously, we're here at Comedy at the Creek 13 tonight. We got Yogi on the podcast today. He's from Royal Oak, like he said. And then we have Chris Reed, who's from Flint, right?
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you guys very much for coming out. This, like I told you, is just a podcast, just shoot the shit and try to, give people an idea of what kind of comedians we have out here and, a little bit about their backgrounds. I usually just kind of talk about what influences are for you and, what you grew up watching and, kind of like what your writing styles are and, what gets you going, and how it is, in the comedy scene around Flint and around Royal Oak and, your guys' favorite places to perform and all that kind of stuff, man. So it's just pretty laid back, chit chat, have a good time.
Yeah, that sounds good.
We can break out the fifths and the weed here
there you go.
and just really get rolling. But Royal Oak. Then you were talking about coming out from Royal Oak.
Yeah.
You've been living out there for a while.
Now I guess it would be 4 years, maybe.
Yeah. Is that where? Did you get started in comedy out in Royal Oak?
Yeah. So I think last year April I took a class at Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle.
Yeah.
And first open mic I did at Canton Brewworks, I guess. Have you been there?
Yeah, that's Ned Rice's spot, right? Yeah. Shout out
room.
Ned.
Yep. Yeah, Ned. So I guess that was my first open mic, and I bombed.
That's all good.
I still have that recording, but I haven't watched it. I was actually drunk that night. And then I decided I'm not going to drink if I'm doing comedy.
Yeah.
So
Wait, did you get drunk before you bombed, or did you bomb and then
Before.
get drunk? Because it was so bad you had to inebriate yourself.
I mean, it's both ways. It's like I got drunk, hammered first.
Okay.
I went on stage. I don't know what I said. And then I got drunk more
Okay.
to get over what I said.
So was that just to stave off the nerves from getting up on stage the first time?
No, actually, there was one dude on the counter at the bar, and he, like, a white dude, big, and he started saying that his name is Bhim. Bhim is a mythological character in Indian mythology. I'm like, how the fuck you know Bhim?
What?
Yes. How do you know what is Bhim? Why are you saying Bhim? I started talking to him, and he said, one more. He made, like, he was the reason I was drunk. And then Ned Rice called my name. I'm like, oh shit.
Was he at least buying them for you?
No.
So you got drunk, bombed, and had to pay a big bar bill.
Yes. And that was my first open mic. And that's how I realized this is fun.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I just keep on going back. That's my origin story. Bhim made me drunk.
Well, you still seem to be pretty into it because I see you out and about everywhere. So you must have got the bug right off the bat, huh?
There was a time when I went, like, I took a month off, kind of.
Yeah.
And then, but I kept on going to at least one a week. So I was not on hold for a long time. That one kept on, was good. So I just like, okay, from one that became 2 and then 3. Now it's, I guess, every day. I don't hate it now.
Yeah, well, I've seen you a couple times. I haven't seen you bomb. So you must be doing something right over this past few couple of years.
Yep.
Wait, Beam's not here tonight, is he?
Yeah, I'm afraid of him now.
Oh, I've had those beers at Canton Brewworks, man. That place ain't no joke, man. I think most of the beers that they have there are like between like 8 and 12%.
Wow.
So I can imagine that it was probably pretty easy to get drunk.
The name of the beer, I know, it's called Alien Autopsy. I'm like,
I've heard of that.
What the what?
Jeez, oh, Pace. Well, how about was it you? I see you out in Flint all the time too, and man, there's quite a bit going on out there.
Yeah, there's a little, mostly just like open mics and stuff in Flint. There's something JW's on Dordt Highway once a month. Matt Cowsert runs that one.
Okay.
He had stopped for a minute. I think he's running that again. Soggy Bottom Bar in downtown now has one once a month. Jacori runs that one.
Okay.
Then just a few open mics here and there. Not a whole lot of shows or anything. Oh, Mark Bonto, yeah, he runs a couple of rooms up that in Burton and one in Tenacity Brewing in downtown Flint. So yeah, there's quite a bit of stuff going on. Yeah,
That's cool. Yeah, it's always nice having a lot of options around where your area is. That was the reason why I pretty much started this here, is because you see the surrounding cities around here. I mean, we got Lansing, which is cool. We got Max, and unfortunately lost, Beggars not too long ago.
Yeah.
But, so we got the Weekly Crunch and Max, and that's about it, and I was like, I got to do something, because I don't want to drive, an hour and a half one way to do 7 minutes on a Wednesday and then have to be to work at 7 in the morning. So I was like, all right, might as well throw something together around the area here that I know I can have for sure at least once a month.
Yeah,
So-
that driving can get rough.
Oh, yeah.
Most of the time I feel like coming from Flint, I'm driving at least an hour in any direction I go, usually. So, yeah, it gets old.
I see those guys that drive all the way out, like you, from Royal Oak all the way out to like Wyoming.
Oh, that
Because that was where I met you, was out
Yes,
at Sunday
yeah.
Funnies.
super weird.
That's a long way.
Yep. Yep.
What's that about? That's about 2.5 hours, isn't it?
Yes, and if you take like a piss break, then it becomes 3 hours. So
Damn, how long of a piss break do you take?
rest stops, you have to add like 20 minutes if you are like stopping at a rest stop. It's I don't know. It's
Yeah.
20 minutes.
Depends on how much you drink, right?
Maybe I don't know.
Now, you were talking, before we started the podcast about doing some stuff out of state. Have you been out of state?
I did this this Christmas. I went to this thing called Lake Michigan road trip.
Okay.
So I went to Chicago, Wisconsin, and then came back from UP.
Ah,
So I did some open
from
mics.
the UP. Yeah, that is a road trip.
Yes, it is in winters. So please don't go there in winter. It's not a fun drive. And if you have a shitty vehicle, then please don't drive there.
Oh, yeah.
You've been out of state? Have you been down towards like Ohio or Indiana or any place like that?
I've been to Toledo once.
Okay.
Down, what was the name of that place? The Casual Pint. They have an
Huh.
open mic down there twice a month. I was down there. Nice little room, yeah. I'm not sure if I'll go back anytime soon, because that is a long drive.
Yeah,
from
Toledo.
Flint.
Yeah.
Yeah, like almost 2 hours for
No.
5 minutes. So,
Right.
kind of got to weigh if it's worth it or not.
All these fucking places have these weird ass names, like the big brown boot and the frickin' Casual Pint and the fucking
Is
what
that
else?
a real name? The Big Brown Boot?
Oh, I've seen the Big Brown Boot. Yeah, there's the Big Brown Boot.
Where is that?
I think the Big Brown Boot is in like South Bend.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
They might have that kind of name, South Bend. The name South Bend is itself like, what the hell? South Bend.
Did you drive to South Bend for comedy? Have you been there?
I haven't been there for comedy. I seen the place when I was doing music, because I come
Oh.
from like 25 years of music. So, I've been all over the place, all over the country playing music, and I just see these places.
See, yeah, this instrumental. And you know your stuff. So,
Well, I wouldn't say I'm an expert by any means, but I can get by with what I need, But so how long have you been around doing this? What got you into the bug? You get drunk?
Yeah.
Bomb?
Well, I get drunk and I bomb, not usually at the same time, but I've been doing this for, let's see, January 2023. I started, so about a year and 4 months, I think it's been now.
Okay.
And it's just something I've always been interested in and always kind of wanted to try. And I don't know, just one day I decided, you know what, I'm going to do it. And
Yeah.
I just started writing material and just started doing it. Did my first stand-up set at this place, actually, right here, Totem Books.
Yeah.
In Flint is an open mic, but it's not a comedy open mic. It's just one of those where it's like, like poetry. People read poetry,
Gotcha.
pick a banjo, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So probably wasn't the best idea of a place to go for my first stand-up set.
It was a start.
Yeah, right. I mean, yeah, you got to start somewhere, right? I'm not going to say I bombed. I got a few laughs and everything, but it definitely, I thought I was hilarious, right? But
Yeah.
I go back and I recorded that. I go back and look at it. And I'm like, oh, man, this is horrible. This is horrible. I can't believe I subjected these people to this. But, yeah, so I feel like I've improved a little bit since then. So it's been a fun ride so far.
Yeah, you guys mostly record your sets, don't you? Record every set?
I record every single set of mine.
I've got to get better than that at that. I was doing it for a while, and then I just kept getting sidetracked, and then I wouldn't set the camera up, or there'd be some weird place that I didn't think I had enough room to set up the camera, and I was just like, I just got to get back to that. I'm way too green still to not be recording my sets and watching them.
Yeah.
But I have had a few of them where I've just basically wanted to delete the fucking thing before I even got home.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you can delete them whenever, like afterwards. But I had this thought recently. The room was dead completely. Nobody was laughing. Only comics, and I said, should I record myself or not? Then there was a friend besides me, and then he said, why not?
Yeah.
Oh, and actually that went well. Like and I was thinking, if I hadn't recorded it, I would not have had this proof that it went well. So then I'm like, okay, no, I'm gonna record every set. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If it is bad or good, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's why everybody says that. They're like, it's worth it.
Yeah.
You can go back and look at it. And is that usually you take that and you just like tweak it and just keep fiddling with it? That's good. How do you usually get started how do you write? Do you like do it all on your phone, or you do it on a pad, or is it in your head, or like?
So I think the writing process evolved a lot. I had a booklet, notebook kind of thing. So I used to write like from hello everybody from like word 1.
Yeah.
And then it went to, I would just write one sentence that would remind me of that joke. And then I shifted to like note cards.
Okay.
So from the whole write-up, now I have a set list on a note card. And then I started taking notes on my phone. So I have a file named Joke Ideas. That's it.
Yeah.
So in that, whenever something random happens, I just write 1 or 2 lines in it.
Just little bones.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
Pick them apart later on,
And let's say if there is an open mic where I have told my every single joke like 50 times, then I go, okay, can I try any of these?
yeah.
So the good thing with me, or the thing that people are letting me getting away with it, is like English is not my first language.
No.
Really?
So I go on stage and mumble some words. They don't take it like, okay, this guy is not prepared.
Yeah.
So I just try and listen to whatever their responses instead of writing everything perfectly. So that's my process.
Did you have influences like growing up? Like, were you a comedy fan when you were younger, or
No.
Where did you see comedy and go, I want to do that? Like, where was it a comedian, like or an uncle or something like that?
Nobody, like even like in high school, I guess we used to watch this show called Comedy Circus in India.
Okay.
What they would do is they would have like 10 comedians on TV, like 1.5 hour show, and it's kind of a competition. Every single episode is a competition.
Huh.
And they have the best of the best on TV. So after school, me and some of my friends, they would gather at someone's house. We'd do our homework and all, and then watch Comedy Circus.
Okay.
That became a thing in high school, senior year.
Yeah.
Then I went to like whatever grad school, or I didn't watch any comedy during that time.
Huh.
Then came here, and my therapist was like, Yogi, you are funny. I'm like, okay, you would say that because I don't know, I'm paying you. So okay, why not try? That's like I had no like people to look up to in comedy, but when I started going to comedy shows here, there are so many good people.
Yeah. Oh, I can't believe how many comics are running around. It's just like every day I meet somebody new, and I don't know if it's. I've been thinking lately. I'm like, is this like one of those fad thingies like right now that's going on? Because you remember when the motorcycle shows were on TV? Like everybody was building the fucking choppers. And then all of a sudden you look around and you see like everybody's got a fucking chopper, and then they realize how uncomfortable they were, and then they quit fucking riding them, and they were all up for sale.
What's a chopper?
Like a motorcycle. It was like a custom motorcycle. Like 10 years ago, all these television shows were on, and then everybody got this bug in their ass, and then all wanted to build a custom motorcycle.
Yeah, Orange County Chopper and all that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember.
and then there was the micro beer thing micro brew beer thing a few years ago that went for a couple of years, and then all of a sudden now you see everybody's brewing systems. I sold mine. I had a brewing system.
Nice.
So it's like, and then you see all these comics and you wonder, okay, in 2 or 3 years from now, there's going to be like 20 of us left and the other 400 are going to be gone? Or, I mean, what do you guys think about that? I mean,
well, I think it could be like what you said, like it could be a fad, but like with the choppers and stuff like that and the microbreweries, it seems like our not really social media, but like our like TV shows and stuff like that kind of like promotes that to people.
Yeah.
And I think that might be what gets it started. Like, I don't know, like say the thing with Chris Rock and when the slap and everything happened.
Yeah.
And then more recently, like Cat Williams and stuff like that coming out and all that controversy. I mean, that might be what gets people to say, you know what, I want to try that. I mean, I don't know, maybe.
Well, it makes sense with the the political climate and everything going on right now. It's like, I guess that would definitely fuel comedy. Because, it's one of the last frontiers to be able to just get up and say whatever the hell it is you want to say,
Right.
So I guess maybe that's just the time that we're in right now. You look at the 60s and, everybody was playing music and doing drugs back in the 60s, and that was the huge thing back then. So now look at all those classic rock bands are all gone now, and everybody's all stoned and dead.
I mean, you are still here from music to comedy, so.
Yeah, well, it's...
Is that why you were doing comedy? Like,
when I was in high school, and even after high school, when I started playing music, music was huge. Like, we were playing all over the place in these little tiny barns, and then we'd go play small venues and all that, and the places were packed. People loved to come watch live music. I got my friends of mine. I haven't been in the music scene in probably over a year and a half now, because I started doing comedy after I left my last band. But like, these people are playing, there's nobody there. I mean, nobody. Like, back in the day, we'd have 30 or 40 people at least watching us play. Now I go watch some of my friends that are still in bands, man, and unless they hustle their ass off, there's 10 people in there. It's just nobody gives a fuck about it anymore. I'd hate to think that that's going to happen with comedy, but
Yeah, and I think most people might be doing this, just sitting at home.
yeah.
Social media, it's kind of ruined a lot of things, people get out and actually participate in real life,
Yeah.
sadly.
Well, and you get people that just come and see this and they go, oh, those guys are talking. It's like Joe Rogan says all the time. Oh, they're just talking. I can do that. Here you go.
Yeah,
Here's
yeah,
the mic,
hey,
man.
right, give it a shot.
Give it a shot, because I've fucking eaten shit way more. Yeah,
Right.
I've only been doing it a year and a half now, and I'm fucking eating shit probably half of the time. So I don't know
used
why
to be
I
one
keep
of those
coming
people,
back.
I think. I used to be, before I started doing this, I thought, well, I mean, how difficult can it be to write some jokes and get up there, But when you get up there, like for the first time especially, and all eyes are on you, and you can just feel the weight of the air.
It's
It's
wild,
like,
dude.
It is wild.
It's wild.
It's kind of hard to describe unless you actually have experienced it.
have you been in a room where people are deliberately trying not to laugh?
I feel like many times I have.
Yeah, I mean, well, we just did the I was gonna bring this up. I'll probably piss off Joe, but the punk comedy was pretty wild.
Max.
I mean, Max, yeah, that was the Chuckle
Yeah.
Punks. I love, shout out Joe Garza is actually gonna be here tonight. He's one of the comics that runs, yeah. But and those guys probably know how interesting it is to do something like that. It's like, I just basically went up there and had to scream my set for 15 minutes.
And you screamed it so well. I mean, you weren't at Max that night. You were at Madison Square Garden. That was impressive.
But those are people, those are people that are there to watch music. It's just like, okay, this is cool. I'll laugh at the comics. They're funny, but it's just there's so much going on. And I think that's like the rooms you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's like, you get these like sports bars where there's 27 televisions going at full blast playing hockey and everything at the same time. I mean,
There is like one TV lotto screen, the other one is some other game. And how do you compete with a game?
I know.
The people love games. in
Yeah,
America.
especially if they're there to watch that
Yeah.
game. Yeah, you're not going to compete with that.
Yeah, and that's what, that's a point of with the comedy being everywhere. It's like everybody's throwing comedy shows in every single nook and cranny. It's like, I understand that, you're a comic and you live in a town, and you got a small bar, but if it's a sports bar where all the regulars are going there and watching freaking football, dude.
And you can't switch off that TV.
No, dude.
You guys.
You'd
do.
have a riot.
Yeah.
Especially around like East Lansing or someplace where they're watching Spartans, or out in Ann Arbor for
Yeah.
the U of M, dude. You're gonna get your ass beat.
Or
if
even the
you turn-
Lions game, man. You don't touch that.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't do much, during the football season.
No.
You a football fan?
No, not really. Hockey, Red Wings
Not
are my
really.
team.
Yeah. No shit. Yeah, this should be a pretty good year. I've always been a big, I hate the Spartans. I can't stand Spartans.
So Spartans
I'm
is,
U of M,
is
Detroit.
University of Michigan.
Yeah, no, Spartans are over in East Lansing.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Lansing versus Michigan.
Yeah,
That's
U of M's over in Ann Arbor, down the road.
okay. So Spartans is their symbol. What is U of M's?
U of M's the Wolverines.
Okay, so Spartan versus Wolverine.
Those are it's just Spartans. They're just like what, cold-blooded murderers.
Yeah, some kind of ancient soldier. I don't know. I'm feeling dumb now. What's a Spartan?
This is Sparta.
I should know what a Spartan is.
Have you seen that movie 300?
Yeah.
Those are Spartans, right?
Those are Spartans.
And
Right.
Those are nude Spartans. I don't know. That's a weird ass movie.
No doubt. So what do you do for fun besides comedy? Like, do you have some hobbies or?
Yeah, I make like small, tiny model cars.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like the models, like the plastic ones, or?
Yeah. There is a kit called Metal Earth.
Okay.
So you you bring your clippers and bring the template out, and then start folding and do it. It's fun.
Huh.
It takes like for this big. It's like it's not 6 inches, right?
Man, yeah, that's probably 3, 4.
Okay. It's
Whip
it's,
out your. No.
I don't know. This looks like 6. But whatever.
That's a short-looking 6, Yogi. I don't know.
I mean, to me, this looks like 6.
Okay.
I'm gonna say this is 6.
6.
So it's a model car which looks like 6 inches.
Okay.
Looks 6 inches. So that takes around like 3-4 hours to build it.
No shit.
Yes, and it's so much relaxing. You forgot everything. Like
Huh.
any other
I
shit.
could see that. Sitting there. I mean, I'm not. I don't think I'd be very good at that. I'm not very good using like little small tools. It's probably tweezers and shit
Yeah, I
like
got like a 6-7 pair of tweezers.
that. You should do that on stage. Just show up to a show.
So I'll
and
be
just
like,
start
okay,
putting one together.
this is my Ford F-150. This is some Chrysler, something else. Like on stage, I'm like putting all the models that I built, and then from the back pocket, I'm like, okay, tweezer 1. This is the.
They'd be like just leaving. This fucking guy's been putting one of these things together for 45 minutes now.
You'd have some confused people.
No shit.
That might happen. And there was one big like a locomotive, a train set. That took me 2 days because it has like 5 different components.
Well, that's cool. Well, if it's something you enjoy doing, to get your mind away from everything else,
yeah.
that sounds like a good time. What about you? You got weird. Everybody picks on me because of my hobby.
What's your hobby besides music?
I've been collecting character glasses. You remember the glasses back in the 80s when you were a kid that you used to
McDonald's
get
and
from
stuff and-
McDonald's and stuff?
Yeah,
I've been collecting those for over 30 years.
Oh, wow.
I have a whole gigantic area in my basement that's just these small racks that run across my walls, and I've got thousands and thousands of dollars worth of these things that I've been collecting over the years. It's ridiculous. It's getting harder and harder these days to collect them because, obviously they're made out of glass, and some of them they started building in the 30s. They started manufacturing them in the 30s. Like some of them are from Esso gas stations and stuff, like in the 40s and 50s.
Wow.
And yeah, but it's mostly I collect anything that has like a cartoon character on it. So it's all this
Well, where
Superman.
do you find those old ones? Like on eBay or?
I find them in a lot of like antique malls.
Okay.
I go to a lot of antique malls, antique shows, flea markets. It used to be garage sales, but you don't find an awful lot of them at garage sales. There's 2 types of collectors. People are going to be like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? See what I mean?
See, this is what model.
Thought this was a comedy
God,
podcast.
That used to be you could just a lot of people buy them nowadays on eBay like everybody else. I like to I would call in the wild.
Yeah.
So I like to find them in the wild. So I like
Right.
to go through the flea markets and stuff and look for them. But Yeah.
Yeah,
That's my weird ass
I collected
shit.
comic books for the longest time. I'm actually in the process of selling off my collection now, just
Yeah.
because it's grown, like you said, just running out of space. Just I need the money, things like that. But yeah, same terminology in the wild as opposed to eBay. You know, I'd
Right.
go to conventions, you know, like flea markets, antique malls, garage sales, things like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, kind of a similar thing.
I've been called a hoarder before.
What's your, like, both of you, top 3 collections?
Mine's definitely the glasses. It's always been the glasses.
So what 3?
Like the most rare one that I have.
Yeah.
I have a Dick Tracy glass that came from Domino's Pizza, and they only made I think they only made 400 of them nationwide back in the early 80s. So I've got one of those, and then I've got a Mighty Mouse.
What's a Mighty Mouse?
Mighty Mouse is I think it was Looney Tunes made Mighty
okay,
Mouse,
yeah.
but it was he's like a superhero Mickey Mouse. He has little red tights and wears a little yellow outfit, and he's like,
Random question. Do you like wrestling also?
I like professional wrestling, on
Yeah,
TV.
yeah.
I was into it when I was a kid, but I haven't seen it in years and years.
Okay.
Yeah, same with me. I loved it when I was a kid.
Yeah, it's like soap opera for adults now.
Andre the Giant, Hulk Hogan, all those guys.
I was actually at WrestleMania 3.
No way.
At the Pontiac Silverdome, yep.
That's awesome.
It was March 29th, 1987. I remember it because it was my sister's birthday. My sister was 2.
Wow. Who was there? What was the big bout?
That was when Hulk Hogan body slammed Andre the Giant.
Yeah. I saw that on TV. It was amazing.
Yeah, it's still one of the biggest selling. It was at the Pontiac Silverdome. There was 110,000 people there or something like that. It was one of the biggest events that they ever had at the Pontiac Silverdome. But,
Wow.
Yeah, more nerd shit.
Would you?
Is that what you're into? You like
Yeah.
wrestling?
My friends used to watch those, and they would made me watch those in my college days, and I'm like, nah, I don't like this. What are these guys doing? but there are different games. Like there is a game of kabaddi in India. It's like you just run to a different side and touch somebody and come back. It's just like that.
Oh, like tag?
Yeah. But you play it in teams.
Oh, all right.
I used to watch those games, and cricket.
Yeah.
So that's a religion. like football in here.
Yeah.
Cricket is India's religion.
Yeah. Did you come over here to go to school? Is
Yes,
that what?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good deal. Yeah.
That's a nice, easy way to get in.
I'm gonna come go
Do
to
school. Yeah, that's it. What about you? What was your comic things?
Did you want to know my favorite 3?
Yeah.
Is that what the question was? Okay. I had so many, but I guess if I had to pick my favorite 3, I had one. It was called Black Rider. It was an old Western comic from 1950, and it had a photo cover. It had a cover with an image of a photograph of Stan Lee dressed as the Black Rider.
Oh, wow.
When he was in his 20s. And I found that actually at a antique mall in Waterford, and I had paid $10 for it.
No shit.
And I knew what it was.
It's one of those things.
It was
yeah.
worth about $800. Yeah.
Wow.
So another one was another photo cover. It was Jack Kirby. It was an old crime comic from 1948, and it had a Jack Kirby photo cover. He was the one who helped Stan Lee create all the characters, the Marvel characters. And the third, if I had to pick a third one, I'd probably say the first comic book I ever owned that my mom bought for me when I was 9 years old.
No shit.
That one. I still have that one. That's graded in a protective case, 9.8.
Yeah.
And it's like a perfect copy.
Are you gonna sell that one also?
I'm not gonna sell that one.
Yeah, some of them you
No.
just, even though
No.
you get the money out of them, they're just so sentimental.
Yeah.
That's like the first set that I ever had was from Pizza Hut. My grandmother took me to Pizza Hut, and they had the Flintstone Kids.
Oh, I remember
And
those.
That's what got me hooked. I was probably about maybe 9 or 10 years old. That got me hooked after that. And then
Those were cool.
my grandmother was a huge garage sale person. So then I'd see them at garage sales, and then they were all over back then, and I just grabbed them, and that's what got started over the years. So, yeah, I got you. You see them. You just see them. Like one of the other thing with the glasses is it's one of the most colorful things in a antique mall. So I can walk through the mall and I
Easy
can
to
just
spot.
see them. They're easy to spot
yeah.
all over the antique malls.
You need to show me some of the pictures because
I'll have to check. Yeah.
I still don't understand or can visualize what the whatever.
They were just, most of them are promotional materials that, gas stations and fast food restaurants, gave everybody in the 80s.
Okay.
They were all made out of glass. They basically just got like a colorful screen printing on them of cartoon characters and all the American shit, like Superman and Batman and all that kind of stuff is what they did in the 80s. It was huge back in the 80s. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry had a promotional glass for their company back in the day.
Is that something to do with like pin-up posters?
It was kind of the same thing, just on glasses.
Okay,
It's like nowadays, even McDonald's doesn't even do it anymore.
Yeah,
Like,
I haven't seen it.
I think the last ones that they had were Shrek glasses, and then they found out they had a bunch of lead in them, so they
Oh my God.
for a long time. Or no, that was Burger King, because for a longest time they would tell you that if you brought your glass back to the actual restaurant, then you could get a free Whopper.
Oh, the lead one, the lead contaminated.
Yeah,
glass?
if you return the lead glass and got
us
it out
the
of
lead.
circulation, they'd give you a free Whopper.
Wow.
That's how
What if Whopper also have lead in it? Okay.
Right. What's in this Whopper? Good point, Yogi.
What's in it?
Jesus.
So, Jason, when you look at those old Flintstone kids glasses now, do you get like do you get like an emotional?
Oh yeah.
Feeling
My
from it?
grandmother and I were really close, so with her getting me started into that collecting type shit back in the day, it's always my grandma on the shelves downstairs, basically.
Yeah. I understand. I've got a small box of comics that I'll never get rid of from my
Yeah.
childhood. That every time I don't do it often, but every time I take them out, look at them, it's like, oh, I feel like I'm 10 again. I love it. There's nothing like it.
Yeah, I always threaten my kid. I'm like, after I kick the bucket, dude, you're gonna have to figure out what the fuck to do with all these
Right.
glasses. These things are probably actually they're not going to be hard to sell because there's actually a promotional glass collectors association online, and they have like meetings every year and down in Columbus, Ohio, and everybody rents out hotel rooms and then they sell all their glasses to each other in the hotel rooms. So there's a lot of those guys that are on those actual like in the association that would probably be predatoring my son because they know what kind of a collection I have.
Wow.
But yeah. But anyway, well, thanks for coming to the Comedy at the Creek fucking
Nerd talk.
The collectible glass
the
discussion. Comic
collectibles
books
episode. So what do you guys got going on besides here tonight? Anything coming up you can promote and shamelessly plug?
I just finished doing 3 shows with the comedy series in Mayfield, which I didn't even know existed. That's another thing I like about
Mayfield?
doing comedy. Yeah, is like I get to go to these towns I never even knew of. It's kind of weird. Like Mayfield, Memphis, Michigan. I didn't know there was a Memphis, Michigan. And where else? In Birch Run. That was a nice show. But coming up, I don't really have a whole lot planned. Couple shows in June, and one in Ruth, Michigan. That's another town I didn't know about. It's like up in the thumb. And another show in Bay City at the Willow Lounge. I've never been there before.
Bay City seems to have a pretty decent comedy scene. I always see a lot coming from Bay City.
Yeah, there's a little bit of stuff going on there. Yeah,
That's cool.
Yep.
I've been up to Bay City, I think, once. I went up there and took my kids up to it was like a tall ship celebration that they did right there where they brought in all those pirate ships and like old-fashioned like English ships. It was pretty neat. More nerd shit.
Yeah, Makaya Ramos, she runs a open mic at Coven. It's a bar in downtown Bay City.
That's the double-edged sword.
Yeah, double-edged
Okay.
sword every Thursday night. That I was there a couple weeks ago. I believe it was packed. It was a nice show.
cool.
Yeah, I had a great time.
Good deal.
Shout out to Makaya.
Hell yeah. About you, Yogi?
I'm,
You got something big coming up, don't you?
I'm just doing competitions. So tomorrow, actually, I will be in Ohio. This thing called Crumbly Cup.
Okay.
Yeah, I've
And
heard of that.
They do like 1-minute comedy set.
Wow.
That's even more.
I see that on that Kill Tony, and I couldn't imagine doing 60 seconds of comedy. I don't think I would get.
And it's like an elimination round. So boom, like you're out of the whole series.
Is it like judges that
Yeah,
like
yeah,
instantly judge you,
So
and you're either
there
in
are
or out?
judges there, 3 different judges, and they'll be like, okay, person A is in or B is in, whatever. Like they'll show their card, and then the other person is out. I'm like,
Wow.
Okay.
So if you advance, is the next round also 1 minute?
Yes.
Or
So the maximum you can do is like 5 rounds before you actually win that. So 5 rounds means 5 minutes.
Wow. Hey.
What's your plan for the 1 minute? You gonna have like one joke,
So
or you gonna have?
this is the bummer. Like if you go with your best, you will go through round 1 for sure. But then rest of it is shit.
Oh, yeah, because you used your best joke.
Yes.
Okay.
and if you hold your best and you didn't get through it, then
You wasted your best.
you wasted with like you didn't do your best.
Right.
So that's fucked up.
Well, I guess it makes sense though.
Yeah, that's tricky.
You just got to take your whole bit and like take all your different bits and just squeeze them all into like make it funny like in that much.
Yeah. And the next one is like the next Tuesday, a Detroit to LA competition
Yes.
at Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle.
Yeah.
That-
So what do you actually get? Is that what you get? Is like they send you to Los Angeles to do comedy?
Yeah.
And they pay for it in a hotel room and flight and all that shit?
Everything. So that like you're featured on their club.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a nice deal, I guess.
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
win.
I see that when one season comes around, everybody's talking about that Detroit to LA. My Facebook gets flooded with people. They're like, "Come support me, come support me." I'm like, "Holy shit!"
How do you know about that? Because I don't hear about these things until they're basically happening already or they're over.
It's
it
definitely
seems like.
tricky for some of these places for sure.
So I guess they just invite like first few weeks are invite only.
Oh, okay.
And then when they get filled, people again they know who is inviting who, and then then they just start flooding.
Oh, okay.
So let's talk.
Well, that works
Okay,
for
yeah,
you
yeah,
too, because that's
absolutely.
Royal Oak too. So
Yeah,
that's
I
right.
live like
that's right
within
next
a
door.
mile of that place.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
I would love to hang out there.
I've been wanting to get into that, do that Bill Bouchard.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to do his class, but once again, I'm an hour and 45 minutes away, so it's like, all right, I got to drive 2.5 hours.
That class will change you.
Yeah,
for sure.
It is. A lot of people seem to really enjoy it, and
Yeah.
it definitely it gets lots of praise. So it seems like it'd be worth it.
Yep.
I'll do it if you do it.
That's cool. I've been bugging Justin Hicks too. His wife went and did it.
Really?
Yeah, his wife Mary just went and did it not too long ago. So, and he hasn't even done it. His wife's only done comedy a couple times. She did it out of Mitchell's and whatnot, but she seemed to do pretty well. So I would imagine that she learned something from that class. But yeah, I would be down for it. I think the next one, the June classes are coming up here pretty soon. So.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd be
That's
cool
something to
having
look
somebody that I'd know, so I'm not rolling up there by myself every couple of, because don't they have the classes like once a week or something for a couple of weeks?
For like 4 classes once a week, like 2 or 3 hours, and then you have a showcase.
Okay.
So that is a packed room.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I've seen pictures. It seems pretty impressive.
Yep.
Well, that's cool.
So with that showcase that you have at the end, would that be like jokes that you wrote during the class?
Yeah. So it depends. Like it's on you. It's your 7 minutes. Whatever you want
to do. Okay.
But that's better if you have worked on it for that month.
Right.
So they probably, when you go to the class, like one of the first things they do is say, "Here's a microphone. Do your 7, and we want to see." We want to see what you do.
Yeah,
right?
that's exactly how it goes. Bill will say, "Go on stage, do whatever you have,"
and then
what?
gives you a bunch of notes and
Yes.
kind of keeps an eye. Oh, that's
Yes.
cool. I could definitely use that. I could use that with golf. I've been playing golf for a couple of years now. I'm fucking horrible at it. Yeah, so I could use some golf lessons.
I could use that with life in general, I think.
Right. But, well, cool. I think we're gonna, hopefully we can get some people coming in here pretty soon. I'm worried about this summertime, with it getting warm and so much going on.
No one wants to be indoors.
Yeah, and there's so much going on in Lansing tonight, and all the kids have got shit going on with school and everything. I was hoping maybe because the kids are at their dance or whatever they're doing that the parents ain't gonna have anything to do, so they're gonna come out and listen to some comedy. But like you said, nobody wants to be inside. But hopefully we'll get a few people that'll trickle in here, and then we can have a good show. Either that, or we'll just tell each other jokes like we normally do.
It'll be a good time regardless, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys very much, man, for doing the podcast. And they're going to be on stage live tonight at Comedy at the Creek 13. We're going to have Comedy at the Creek 14. It's going to be on June 22nd. So get out here. We always have a brand new batch of 10 great comedians from all over the state that come out, and guys like this, and we're going to come rock the place. So thanks for